Let's turn now to our top story. The June U.S. jobs report is due out in just a couple of hours' time, 8:30 a.m. Eastern to be specific. The pace of hiring is expected to improve from the past 2 months, but is still seen as sluggish. Forecasts are calling for a gain of about 100,000 in non-farm payrolls. That's up from about 95,000 earlier in the week, following some better than expected reports from ADP on private sector payrolls and an improvement in jobless claims as well. Still, even that pace wouldn't be enough to make a serious dent in the unemployment rate, which is expected to hold steady at 8.2%. Joining us now for more is Gary Burnison, CEO of Korn, Ferry International. You guys know a bit about the job market yourself. What are you saying? How would you describe conditions?
Well, I think that everybody is, on the edge of their seats, and they're waiting for a Lehman Brothers moment. I mean, it's truly across countries, it's across industries.
So the clients,
it's amazing.
The companies that you're dealing with are specifically not hiring because they're worried about another Lehman kind of moment.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. I mean, the CEOs that I've met with just here in Europe over the past 3 weeks, it's amazing the stories. Energy companies, everybody's operating from the same playbook. Uncertainty is certainty, and we've got to break through this.
What is in their mind the Lehman moment that they're waiting for?
You've got a transition in China. They've now cut rates, which is good, but that's going to take about a year to work through the global economy. You've got a potential leadership change in the United States. You've got a fiscal cliff in the United States. And then, of course, you've got here where everybody's kicking the can forward, which will probably happen in the United States as well with the fiscal cliff.
So actually, it's not just one.
It's
not just
no.
Europe. It's a global
absolutely
issue. And so is no one deciding there's what we're saying is no one is deciding, and what he should do is say is in some weakness, if you're strong and you're big, there's opportunity to go in and invest because you know. At some point, things are going to turn around, and when they do, I'll be the bigger player. You're suggesting no one's doing that?
No, nobody's doing that, but that's what you have to do. Because it's human nature. Boards today are incredibly conservative. There was this train wreck 3 years ago, and there was this mad dash for cash. Everybody remembers that. If you look at American companies today, they're sitting on $1 trillion of cash. We're sitting on a lot of cash. So boards are obsessed.
Is cash now... Actually, is that just the new normal? I mean, is there ever going to be any time when we run cash levels down, or actually boards for the next decade?
When politicians go after those cash levels, that's when it'll happen.
Yeah.
I think this is a decade of readjustment. I really do. The fact is, Western consumers consume too much for a couple decades, and we simply spent more than we should have. In the United States, we're spending $4 for every 3. That is not sustainable.
So if I came to you and said, I need a job, where's the opportunity right now, given all of this and all the difficulties you mentioned, what would you tell me?
Technology, social media, number one. I mean, companies are scrambling to try to sell goods through social media, through the internet. That's absolutely hot. Life sciences is good. Take the United States, 20% of the economy will be in health services. So we're all getting older, we're all going to get sicker.
Yeah.
All right? I mean, those two places. Not, by the way, not financial services.
Yeah.
It's a disaster.
On the social media side, you say everybody's trying to sell through it, but do companies actually understand anything about it, or how to do it, or how to harness it, or is it still, they still feeling their way?
Everybody's feeling their way, but it's a tremendous opportunity. And if you're a CEO today, CEOs are borderless. And you're looking, there's a real fight for growth and relevancy. And so the question is, how do you drive that growth? And the truth is, there are fewer levers today than there were a decade ago. One of those levers is to look to emerging markets that have emerged, whether that's through the internet or being there physically.
Okay, you talk about we're in the midst of an invisible recovery, Gary, so we'll get on to what you mean by an invisible recovery in just a few seconds. Plenty more to come from you. Washington